Today we're going to be talking about the Peak from Bison Pickleball. It's a Gen 2 thermoformed paddle that comes in a bit head heavy, but it plays surprisingly well. It has a bunch of extras right out of the box and may be one of the best values that I've tested to date. I'm Dylan, this is the Dill Pickleball Company. Let's see if we can get to the peak of this paddle. Okay, when it comes to the specs for the Peak by Bison Pickleball, it is an elongated paddle coming in at 16.5 inches long by 7.5 inches wide. It's thermoformed with a carbon fiber face, and it has a 16 millimeter thick core. It's got a 5.3 inch handle on there, kind of similar to like the Proton Flamingo, and it is a slightly thinner handle at 4.125 inches. Mine came in weighing at 8.1 ounces, and it is noticeably head heavy out of the box, but there are some ways to kind of lower that balance point that we'll talk about later on. The Peak also uses that raw carbon fiber. This is Japanese carbon fiber, but it does give it that top tier spin potential, and it makes those balls really move and dip on drives. It is thermoformed, so it's a one-piece build, and it has those foam injected edges to keep everything nice and inside there. It does give it, that makes it have a bigger sweet spot, a little more stable sweet spot, and the whole thing, it does feel solid in your hands. The carbon fiber face generates a lot of spin. It's really gritty, it grabs the ball hard, and you'll notice on top spin rolls and cut dinks that it is really nice when you're hitting the ball. When it comes to modifications for the Peak, I did put some weight near the throat to kind of take down that balance point because it is a pretty head heavy paddle. That also opened it up just a little bit, made it have a little bit more power and plow through, which I really liked. But let's go ahead and get into the Dill score so that we can give it some rankings on our crucial categories. Let's go ahead and get into the Dill score here so we can give this paddle some numbers compared to the others. When it comes to power for the Peak, I'm going to give it a 7. I mean, it's a Gen 2 thermoformed paddle, so it does have some good power, but it's nothing that's going to like surprise you or blow your socks off or anything like that. When you go to pop, I'm going to give it a 7 as well, kind of for those same reasons. Control, I'll give it an 8 because it does have a little bit of a more plush feel, and whenever you're dinking and doing resets with this paddle, it doesn't have quite the same pop that the others do, so it's a little easier to control. The spin, I'm going to give it an 8.5. It does have that raw carbon fiber face, so that naturally is just going to rip that ball, and it's going to make you be able to shape the ball pretty well with this paddle. The sweet spot on this one, I couldn't find the twist weight measurements for it, so I'm going to give it an 8. Since it's thermoformed with that EVA foam around the edge, it does have a pretty good sweet spot. Maneuverability, though, I'm going to have to give it a 6, maybe even a 5, just because it is pretty head heavy, and with that shorter handle, it's harder to whip around and get to your one-handed backhands, or even with hand battles at the net, it gets a little heavy. Now, overall, though, it has a really premium feel to it, so the build quality is really, really nice. So now, considering all of these numbers are for a paddle that after discount code is around $100, I think that these are pretty good numbers. So, who is this paddle for? Well, the Gen 2 construction is going to give it that plush feeling while still giving it some good pop and power. It's not the most powerful or the most poppy paddle on the market, but that's okay. The spin it generates gives you great placement, and for a beginner or intermediate player who's still working on their game, this may be a really good fit, especially because of all the extras you get right out of the box. And with my discount code DILL30, you do get 30% off, so that makes the paddle just $100, which is really easy to recommend because it comes with the case, the weights, the paddle eraser, the edge guard tape. Just that stuff alone is a huge value, and then for it to play as well as it did right out of the box, it's a pretty good paddle. So, what's the deal with the Peak by Bison Pickleball? Honestly, for $100 after code, it's a really great value. It plays super well, and if I'm being honest with you, I didn't really expect that. I thought that I was going to get kind of a cheap Amazon paddle that didn't have much to it, but the carbon fiber face, the Gen 2 construction, it really provides good power, good pop, and excellent spin. And the build quality on it, it just feels nice. It feels like it's a premium paddle. Now, something that Bison Pickleball also does that I think is really cool is they donate a portion of their proceeds to bison wildlife preservation. Um, Bison are natural to the area that I'm from here in the Texas Panhandle, and so I think that that's a super cool cause to support. So not only do you get a paddle, a case, a paddle eraser, some weights, edge guard tape, all in a premium package for $100, but you're also contributing to saving some bison. So I think that this pickleball paddle is an excellent paddle to recommend to anybody looking for one. And if you are looking for more reviews, please hit that bell icon for notifications, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned because I've got plenty more paddle reviews coming and some awesome content also planned. So, thanks for tuning in to the Dill Pickleball Company. I'm Dylan. Hope you have a good one.